Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast, third one in campaign 43. This one coming at the end of the first full scrim. And with me today, I'd like to welcome the Major General from the 3AAG, Duke.
How's it going?
Not too bad here. I appreciate you joining us. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the scrim. We're going to get to learn a little bit about Duke, and we're going to talk about some of the potential rule changes that may be taking place this campaign. So I'm going to let Duke go ahead and tell us a little bit about himself, and then we'll go on from there.
Well, my 21 CW career started with Battlefield 2 way back in the Wayback days. I think it was mid campaigns in Battlefield 2. Worked my way up to an HCO spot. I ran a couple different companies as an officer, stuff like that. So I had some experience there. Left, did some things. Personal life gets in the way. And came back for Battlefield 3. And been enjoying it ever since. I got to be general for one campaign, a couple campaigns back, and that was a lot of fun. I had to quit early for some personal reasons, but I think we won eventually. So, but no, it's been fun. I love 21 CW. I love what's going on here. I'm personally from Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, and I've had some previous military experience, but and that's about me.
Oh, I appreciate that. Actually, I think I was in the Army. You were general as 1 Cav?
That's right. I was General 1 Cav, yeah.
I remember. I was in the Headhunter squad, I think.
Yeah, with Sega, right?
No, I was with Vanguard and Grim and E-Strike.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense now.
I think our captain was Hobo.
Yes, Hobo. Yes, Hobo was a good guy.
All right. Well, now we know a little bit about Duke. I guess let's sort of talk just about how you thought the scrim went today, and just in general, how did you think it went?
Well, I was only there for the tail end, and what I saw was we're down on numbers. Our side was. I think both sides were kind of getting low on numbers at the end, but we weren't filling the server, that's for sure. Which kind of sucks, but at the same time, it is something that we have to deal with, and it is just a scrim, and I think everybody understands that. Take it easy and try to remember that this is this doesn't work towards the campaign. But at the beginning of the day, it sounds like both sides were pretty full, and there was a good fight going on, and that's good, and that's what we like to see. It gives an opportunity for both divisions to kind of figure out what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and where they can fix their things at. And we all realize that it's not something that I think both sides realize it's not something that it's not that serious, but it's definitely something that you can see where your gaps are and try to fix those gaps before the coming campaign. The server seemed to be running okay when I was there, but I wasn't there for 32 and 32, so you could probably attest more to that than I could. Well, and I've heard that there's a possibility of actually upgrading to be the CPU priority. It costs a little extra, but it's something that we could probably look into.
Yeah, I was there for most of the battle on Saturday, and I thought it went really well. I had a really good time. I really enjoyed Wake Island infantry only. I wasn't expecting it to be as fun as it was, but it turned out to be a blast. I had a great time. I also got to BFCO on Sharkey, so it was nice to be back in the chair again. But I thought the scrim provided both armies a chance to evaluate their strengths and weaknesses and give them an opportunity to make adjustments prior to the start of the actual campaign. So I thought it was successful in that aspect of it. You brought up the point of a new server. We did have a new battle server yesterday, and we are going to upgrade the CPU priority for next week's battle. So if you played this week and you're planning on playing next week, make sure you let people know up through the chain of command and in forum posts whether or not you thought the CPU upgrade made a difference, or your thoughts just on the new server as compared to the last one. But I thought it performed much better. I had some difficulty with the last one, so it was nice to sort of get this one up and running and see that it was working pretty well. We also tried something a little different this week as far as the optics for the vehicles. For this week, we didn't allow the use of thermal or zoom optics on the tanks or the helicopters. So Duke, if you just want to give us some of your thoughts on that, rule and how you think it could potentially make 21CW a better place to play for everybody.
Well, I actually I have to admit to something. I did spawn in with optics and get in the helicopter, so immediately had to kill myself and put someone else in the bird to use it. So I felt bad about that. I was like, oh, if I kill somebody or something happens, I'm gonna get in trouble. So I had to immediately suicide and do it. But yeah, once it gets set up and everything, I don't know how much the each Air Force got to play with it too much, or the armor got to mess with it. I don't know how many tankers actually roll with the optics anymore, being that the IR smoke is in the same category, and for a long time we were all running jabs and so they all ran smoke and it really didn't matter to them too much. I think that the idea that we're looking for is to bring that chopper back down to a close support weapon, like it was in the beginning BF days when it was, something that you see a halo of death over a point to clear out the bad guys, and then you can move your infantry in and take the point. And that's kind of, I think that's the idea behind bringing those optics out of the game, so that you can, you know, use it more as a tool rather than just something that gets points for you.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting prospect, and if you played in Scrim today in the tank or in the helicopter, fill out your ARs and let your HCOs and the admins know what you think about it. Again, it's not a final rule; it's just something we tested in this Scrim, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. The other thing we tested today was the use of the wrist system, which is a new thing for 21CW, where basically we get to play more maps per battle day instead of the usual 2. Each side gets a chance to attack and defend, and we got to play some different types of maps with infantry only or small maps. So Duke, your thoughts on the wrist system, and if from what you heard or saw, how it went today?
The risk system, it's an interesting prospect. It definitely has some cool attributes to it that really make it intriguing. The like you said, the different maps every week, and some of the other stuff, attacking and defending, and it makes, for the HCOs at least, it makes us kind of make us think more about what we're attacking and how we're doing it and how many battalions we have and all that stuff like that. So it is interesting for us. It is a little more complex than what we're used to. The different types of maps it is nice for certain things, but I think at the same time, it does. When you have a bunch of armor and Air Force guys on, and you go switch to an infantry map, they tend, it's not always fun for them. So, as for like general things that go on with the risk system, it does not. For me personally, I would like to see us be able to prepare a little more, for at least for the first couple battles, or have a general tactics ready for each particular battle, and be able to practice for those battles. I think 21CW as a large has been all about practice all week, and then prep for the 2 maps that you're going to play, and then fight it out on those 2 maps and see who prepped better. Because I mean, really, when it comes down to it, a lot of times the armies will be about the same in talent. I mean, sometimes there's tipping scales either way, but a lot of times it just comes down to prep time and who does the best prep for each battle. And if you do, if you're doing a better prep, then you win usually.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It's definitely an interesting concept, and there may be some tweaks that we need to do so that, like you said, the armies can prepare more for the maps that they could expect during the week. So, again, for players that played in the risk system today, it's going to be a little bit different for the HCOs. Like you said, it's a little more complicated and a little more keeping track of stuff. The general soldier may not see all that much of a difference, other than he gets to play some more maps. So it'll be interesting to see how it's talked about tomorrow in the IC meeting about moving forward with the campaign. And again, with the same with the optics. Any players out there that watch this, go post in the forums. Your general should have a feedback thread where you can let us know exactly how you thought it went today and on both of those topics.
Yeah, we're definitely any feedback we can get is going to benefit the division, that's the thing is that people sometimes don't realize is that we do listen, we do read the ARs, everybody does. I mean, it's something that we really have to do to make sure that our divisions work the way they. We may not feel like we read them sometimes, but we take everything under advisement. That's why we're trying to make some changes to the rules, maybe make it a little more different for everybody. I think the admins feel that way. I think the HCO staffs on both sides feel that way. That we've tried to listen, tried to make it more fun for everybody, and we're trying some new things to do that. So whatever you can do to contribute with your opinion. I mean, you're the reason why we're here. We're all we're all a community here, and if we don't if it's not fun for us, all of us as a group, then it's not going to be something we can continue on.
Yeah, excellent point. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up. Hopefully there'll be some more information for you guys about these potential rule changes after the IC meeting tomorrow, or we may be waiting for one more week for the scrim to see how things go. Before we go, though, Duke, how'd you get your name?
Actually, it comes from a couple different places. I'm actually a big John Wayne fan. They used to call him the Duke, but my name is actually Lucas. Everybody called me Luke growing up, so it works pretty good that way. Otherwise, but yeah, and I'm also a Duke. It's kind of funny. I'm actually a Duke basketball fan, so that works out pretty good.
Duke basketball fan.
Sorry for all you UNC and NC State fans out there.
Well, I guess that just about wraps it up. I would like to thank Duke for spending a few minutes with me. So thank you, Duke.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, and everybody, we have one more scrim next week. If you're watching this and you're not part of 21CW, visit 21cw.net. Join up today. It's free to play. If you're interested in team play, we'd love to have you. And real quick before we go, I'd like to say thank you to Big Stir for providing some of the footage for this week's podcast. If you guys want your footage shown, send me a PM. We'll work out the details.
Three of us.
And this is Cat. Sign out.